Hello, my name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with Hartley Thompson, President of Identity and COO at Microblink, a global leader in AI powered computer vision. With a passion for innovation and strategic growth, Hartley plays a key role in shaping the future of AI driven identity verification and document processing. Microblink's technology is used by over 450 companies worldwide, processing billions of transactions each year. From streamlining identity verification with Blink ID to enhancing security in digital commerce, Microblink is redefining how businesses use AI to create seamless, secure experiences. In today's interview, we'll explore how AI is transforming identity verification, how Microblink's advanced technology is helping businesses fight fraud and improve user experiences, and the challenges of scaling AI globally. Hartley will also share insights on the future of AI in digital identity and offer advice for those looking to build a career in AI driven security and verification. I appreciate you joining us today, Hartley.
Thank you, Alicia. It's an honor to be here. Very excited. Looking forward to our time together.
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. I'm really looking forward to our chat today.
Likewise.
Microblink has a strong reputation as a leader in AI powered computer vision. Can you share what sets Microblink apart and how the company's technology is improving everyday transactions for businesses and their customers?
Sure. A few things around Microblink. So when we think about it, we built our reputation on essentially three key strengths. So first is, unlike some of our competitors who would just focus on a single vertical or maybe two verticals, we've taken the time to really get to understand multiple verticals from fintech to travel to gaming, even healthcare a little bit now, where we want to bring our expertise across multiple industries. So because we partner with our customers so closely, get to really deeply understand their pain points and use cases, we can then help them create tailored solutions to address their industry-specific challenges. The second is that we've developed our own proprietary AI models. AI is a big buzzword now, but I'm proud to say that we are an AI-first company, meaning that we've built our products for AI from the ground up, and our focus and really obsessive focus, if I can use that word, is on user experience with our proprietary AI models. So we have an in-house design team. They are world-class, and they spend a lot of time ensuring that verification processes that our products provide are seamless and, most importantly, very lightning fast. So when you think about the impact to our customers, that's something that our customers as businesses really appreciate, and then are the users of our customers' products who a lot of times don't even know about Microblink, but they
Yeah.
can also notice the difference and appreciate when they go through an identity verification experience that is using Microblink technology. And then the third part I would say is just around our flexibility of deployment options. So we have everything from cloud solutions to on-device processing, so that way we can deliver instant results while still preserving and enhancing privacy. And then we also have self-hosted server-side solutions as well for our customers. So with this versatility, it really allows us to be able to serve a lot of customers' needs, provide a tailored solution to what they need to do. And that's how we're able to have customers in over 60 countries now at this point, and supporting identity documents, new ones as they come up every day, every week, and every month. To sum it up, we basically put our heart and soul into everything that we can do to help our customers make online interaction safer and simpler. We just want to remove the friction. And the more that you can reduce the friction in these moments, the better for our customers and the better for their customers.
I love that. And I heard that Blink ID started with a template based approach, but you transitioned to an
Good.
AI powered document scanner approach.
Yes.
What was the
Yes.
turning point that led to that shift, and how has AI improved the accuracy, efficiency, and the user experience?
Great question. So yes, we started out with the OCR template-based approach. On top of us wanting to constantly innovate and be ahead of the curve, obviously some innovation is spurred by when you hit a wall as a business, right? So with that historical approach, when we got to the scale that we are now, we just simply couldn't handle all the requests and requirements that were coming in for the growing variety of global ID documents that we
Right.
support. So for us to be able to maintain our quality of both the speed and accuracy that our customers needed, we had to shift to an AI-powered approach. So once we made that shift, it wasn't the easiest shift to make. To be clear,
Wow.
we had to invest a lot of time and a lot of money, but we have some of the best ML engineers in the world, some of the best data engineers in the world. So that transformed our capabilities pretty much overnight. So we can now onboard new documents types in a fraction of the time that we were before. We also dramatically improved our data extraction accuracy when we were also already pretty high. And then we also introduced, to get a little bit technical, features like frameless scanning that our users love, which
Mm.
makes a big difference in the speed and the user experience. So it also allowed us to then take our core Blink ID product and build Blink ID Verify. So on top of what we were doing before, which was just classification and extraction
Mhm.
of the textual details of the identity documents, now we're actually able to assess the document authenticity and we can catch fraud attempts on the documents as well. So
That's
without us making the investment to move to AI-powered models, we would not have been able to make that leap into the fully automated document verification side of things. The last part on this is making the shift to AI also allowed us to start using synthetic data for training. So as you're trying to support new documents and be able to recognize fraud, you have to be able to essentially have massive amounts of data that you can then annotate and train your models on to recognize what's good and recognize what's bad. So again, these are just some of the things we're pivoting to AI away from templates, and OCR helped us to improve and get better as a business and ultimately better serve our customers.
That's great. It's amazing AI can do all that.
Yes, it's very helpful.
And you mentioned the Blink ID. Digital fraud is on the rise, of course, especially with
Yes.
AI, because the bad guys are
Yep.
using AI too. So,
Yes, unfortunately they are. Yes.
how does Blink ID Verify use
Mhm.
AI to distinguish genuine IDs from fraudulent ones? And
Yep.
what industries are benefiting the most from that technology?
So a few ways. So like I mentioned earlier, we're running machine learning models where we're looking for different types of fraud or alterations on the document. So we're looking at if it's a photocopy, we're doing liveness assurance, meaning that
Mm.
we ask the user to actually tilt the document. That way we can see if we can pick up on security watermarks that are embedded in the document or see if they are not there at all. We can also see if there's been photocopying. We can tell if there's been a photo swap, for
Wow.
example, of the ID. And believe it or not, most of the fraudulent attempts for, especially for physical IDs, are pretty easy to catch because fraudsters tend to like the least path of resistance. And I hate to say that they're lazy in a lot of ways because some of them are really brilliant, but yeah, they prefer to see what's the least amount of effort I can put into basically bypassing the security feature. So we try to always think like a fraudster, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
and think what is going to be the easiest path that a fraudster is going to try to get something past. And then we build a model to actually recognize what we think would be one of those attempts. So some of the industries that it helps, I mean, anything in banking, financial services, and insurance, anywhere where you have to do KYC and do a document check as a part of that. It ranges from where you need access to sensitive information as a person, whether in a corporate setting, whether in your health records, but anywhere where you have to use a document and you have to be 98.5% sure that this document is authentic. That's where Verify can help. But we also have a lot of usage when it comes to border control and border security.
Okay.
So for immigration, customs, because fraudulent passports are a huge pain
Yeah.
point. We see quite a bit of that, especially in certain regions and certain countries of the world. So yeah, Verify is just an exciting product because it allows, as we say, not only for people to prove that I'm a good actor and you spend less time having to prove this is me and you don't have to send in a photocopy or
Yeah.
a picture of your ID and it's just seamless and we can say, yep, we know this person, but it also helps to keep out the folks that are trying to do bad things.
Nice. This may be a little controversial, but is
Okay.
Clear one of your competitors?
No,
Okay, good.
they're not a competitor. We love Clear. Clear are friends of ours,
Okay.
and we've collaborated on some things. So no, they're not a competitor. Our model is we love to empower other companies in the industry as well because we know what we do really well. Other companies do other things really well. As I mentioned in the opening question and answer, is because of that experience and the multiple different types of partnerships that we have around the world, we're able to tailor our solutions to whatever use case the customer might need, even if it's Clear, for example, that
Okay.
wants to use us for a particular use case. But I get that question a lot, Ashley,
Yeah.
because like Clear, anytime I tell someone I'm in the identity verification space, And they're like, what does that mean? And then I explained, they're like, oh, like clear. And I'm like, yeah. So yes,
That's cool.
we have a lot of respect for them.
What about the social media verifications? You can send in your ID and you can get verified. Do you do anything with
Yes.
that?
We do. So we have a couple of customers on that side as well. And now the trick with especially physical identity-based document verification or authentication is no matter how great of a company you are, how great, you're going to pick and choose your battles on, okay, I'm going to get 100% document coverage in this region or in this country. So, which especially with social media companies that are at scale, they would use us as well as a few of other providers
Oh,
that
okay.
might be either a bit stronger or have more document coverage in this region because they have to be able to support a document from anybody in the world,
That makes
essentially.
sense.
So while I would love it if we had 100% of social media companies' traffic that's coming us for verifications, the reality is just for trust and safety purposes, most of those types of companies use multiple vendors. So you can be a fallback in this country, or you might be the primary, and they're constantly orchestrating based on their needs. But yeah, social media is one that we're keeping a big eye on, especially as more and more regulatory frameworks are passed, whether in Europe, Australia, for example. There's a lot of talk in the US about potentially age gating social media and doing age verification on things. So yeah, that's where we play and we help out quite a bit there. A few big companies that I can't name, I think at
Yeah,
this point.
that's great. And beyond identity verification, Microblink
Mhm.
offers Blink Card for AI-driven
Yes,
credit card scanning. How does that
yes.
technology enhance security and prevent fraud and improve the user
Mhm.
experience in industries like banking and e-commerce?
Yes. So Blink Card is a perfect example of how we're extending our AI vision beyond identity into payment experiences. So the technology solves, I think, a pretty critical problem on both sides of transactions. So
Mhm.
for merchants and banks, we can fight fraud in multiple ways. So the liveness detection, the same thing that we have on the identity documents, we're able to use that to ensure that a physical card is present during transactions. So one of the big issues that merchants and banks face is called CNP, or card not present fraud. So
Mm,
it's just a fancy way of saying if someone doesn't have your physical card and they're able to steal your credit card number or spoof it, and then they try to make an online purchase with your card, that's card not present. So
right.
what Blink Card allows customers to do in this case is if for whatever reason they get another risk signal that's based on their transaction monitoring systems, which could be something as simple. I'm sure everyone's probably experienced like when you travel somewhere new
Mhm.
and you don't have to do it anymore, which is great, but you used to have to inform your bank that, oh, I'm
Right.
traveling to Italy, for example. If you
Mhm.
didn't do that and you land in Italy, try to use your card, you probably get a fraud alert. So those are signals that customers are using, and Blink Card adds into that. So a bank could say, oh, I realize that Alicia is actually trying to use this card in New York when she was just in San Diego
Right.
a minute ago.
Yeah.
Let me do a liveness check. So it then prompts you to take a quick picture of the card and do a liveness check on it. So that's one way. The other way is manual chargeback fraud is actually another
Yeah.
big type of fraud. And a lot of times that's usually due to someone buying something for whatever reason, somebody else finds out about it on their card. The bank might call, or someone else looks at their statement and says, did you purchase this? And then the person's going to say, no, I would never purchase from this a company that I would be ashamed to purchase something from,
Yes.
and they file a chargeback fraud complaint. So what this does is we're doing a lot of data in the background when Blink Card is used to be able to present to the bank or the chargeback company and say, no, it's pretty clear that this was a legitimate transaction. So we're helping there. And then on the consumer side, some of the use cases for Blink Card is a simple scanning the card into an app and doing form fills. One example I'll use is for airlines, for example. Blink Card is used pretty heavily on some major airlines, but I think we've all been there where you want to purchase Wi-Fi or purchase, I don't know,
Right.
overpriced bag of pretzels or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to get out your card and pay for it in the app, and you have to then type in the numbers manually. You may make a mistake. But with this, you can just scan, it's automatic extraction, form fill, and then you can go seamlessly to the checkout page. So that's another area where it helps out a lot. We've made it globally compatible and designed it so it can just fit into existing security measures like 3D Secure, for example, without any additional friction. Long-winded way of saying Blink Card is really there to help make payments both more secure for the merchants and the banks and then more convenient for the consumer.
Yeah, I would say it gives you peace of mind knowing that it's protected that way too. I like that. Yeah.
That's exactly.
And Microblink's solutions are used by over 450 clients worldwide and processes billions of transactions a year, like I mentioned in the introduction.
Yep.
What challenges come with scaling AI-driven document verification across different countries and languages and
Ooh.
regulatory environments?
Oh man, I could talk about this for days,
Yeah.
but a few challenges come to mind. First, the obvious is we're dealing with thousands of different types of documents across hundreds of countries, each with unique layouts, security features, different languages. For example, in our AI, we need to be able to recognize everything from Latin to Arabic scripts and then adjust for regional variations. What I love about our business is that when you use the product, it just seems so simple and it's almost like you think, oh, anybody can do this. But when you really think about the complexity of being able to assure a customer that if a customer from anywhere in the world, any type of document going back 30 years, an identity document needed, tried to use it to verify their identity, we have to be able to recognize that instantly and accurately. So that's one. You hit on it. The other one is the regulatory maze. Every region has different privacy laws. Obviously, you have GDPR in Europe or
Mhm.
CCPA in California, for example. And then you layer on top of that, you will have additional KYC, which is know your customer, and AML, anti-money laundering requirements that vary by jurisdiction. So we're constantly having to navigate these complexities while staying compliant everywhere we operate. So we have a fantastic InfoSec team that helps us there and keeps us honest. We have a fantastic legal and data privacy team as well. But yeah, these are all things that would have to be top of mind for us because we are handling a lot of sensitive information and we're operating in a lot of countries that have a lot of regulatory requirements. And then the other part, you hit on it a bit earlier about fraudsters using AI. So
Yeah.
like I say, especially in the last 2 years, we've seen such an uptick in the rate of fraudulent attempts that generative AI is being used to do. So now, when you add the constantly evolving fraud landscape, where literally every day we're seeing more and more sophistication around deep fakes,
Yeah.
forgeries, and because all of our products are AI driven, we have to continue constantly training our models to stay ahead of as much as possible what's happening. So all of those things are just a sample of everything that needs to happen in real time at massive scale that we're at. But again, we have to still provide the same consistent and seamless user experience for our customers. And the other thing I didn't even touch on, but even the type of devices. So we
Oh,
build
yeah.
our products to where we optimize them so it doesn't matter the camera quality or the lighting conditions. So you can imagine there are hundreds, maybe in thousands of different types of models of cell phones out there,
Yeah.
and we have to support them, different operating systems. We have to be able to detect glare so that way we can, it's, yeah, like so I
I didn't
can,
even think of that.
yes, I could talk about it all day. And then the last one I would say is just really keeping top of mind that and it's a very nuanced challenge, but we have to make sure that our AI remains really fair and
Mhm.
unbiased across many different demographics
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
regions. So this is not easy at all. And we have to train a lot of diverse data sets. We have to test very rigorously because when you're processing billions of verifications annually for hundreds of customers, yeah, it's a lot of challenges there, but it's fun. Our team, we generally wake up excited every day to see what's a
Good.
new challenge, and
Mhm.
and it's never a boring day. So
That's awesome. Perhaps there's a new challenge emerging as AI advances is AI agents because they're going to
yes,
become more common with booking
correct.
trips and making purchases and handling customer interactions on behalf of the humans. So
Right.
how will people be able to prove that they are truly human and not just having an AI act on their behalf? Do you see identity verification evolving beyond today's methods like two-factor authentication and captchas and
Yes, I
something that's on
think
your radar?
so. It's definitely on our radar. This is one of those where we have to stay on top of it every day. Every day we're doing research, we're studying, and it's fascinating, like I said. So as AI agents just increasingly start handling the tasks like you're saying, like when there's a world where AI agents are starting to shop for people, starting to
Yeah.
book travel on our behalf, the fundamental shift is going to be from is this document real to is there actually a human behind this interaction? So you hit on it. When you think about two-factor authentication and even captchas, they're already showing their limitations.
Yeah.
OTP or one-time passwords that come usually through SMS codes, they're also very vulnerable to interception. And frankly, they're just terrible user experiences
Yeah.
as well. So the future is just clearly pointing to more sophisticated approaches that balance security with convenience. And we feel that we're well positioned to play in the middle, to be at the forefront of trying to figure that out. I think three key directions we're seeing based on this. First, I do think that advanced biometrics that leverage unique physical traits like facial features or fingerprints are going to become bigger and bigger. And that's going to be used a lot for proof of personhood, I think, to then verify the identity and say, yes, I am Hartley Thompson and I've authorized this agent on my behalf. Second, another big one, I think, is behavioral biometrics. So that is going to be needed to constantly authenticate users and say proof of personhood, basically saying, okay, let's make sure again that this agent that's operating as X, Y, and Z was actually still authenticated and authorized by this human being. And then the third one is just passwordless methods like passkeys that they're trying to eliminate the traditional password altogether. This one, I think, is going to be TBD. I feel like there's still a little bit more hype here than substance around passwordless, but the market's moving in that direction. When we think about how we're going to tackle this, it's basically going to be an incorporation of all of these factors.
Yeah.
So it's going to go away from point solutions and point in time authentication. I think we're going to get to where, as humans, we're now saying, okay, let's prove who we are now, not historically. A lot going on there.
It makes me curious because if your AI agent can purchase an airline ticket or do something else on your behalf, you're not even involved. You just tell your agents, hey, go book me a
Right.
trip. It is so weird. My little limited brain is amazed. And it's like,
It
how are you
is. Well,
proving it
if
was
it
legitimate?
makes you feel any better, nobody's figured it out yet, as far as I know. So those are the things I think about, though, to your point is like we talked about earlier with Blink Card and chargeback fraud.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I'm saying like, okay, so we know as humans, we see that humans will literally sit there, make a purchase, and then say, I didn't make that purchase. So
Right.
I'm wondering what's going to happen if you authorize an agent to use your credit card on your behalf. Let's say the agent actually makes an inadvertent purchase because the agents are still AI. They're still going
Yeah.
to make mistakes. How are banks going to handle that? So that's where we think about the intersection with identity verification, having Blink Card in there as a component. Maybe there's a way you do identity verification of the agent. You also just do constant reauthentication to make sure this agent is still authorized to
Oh,
conduct transactions using a payment card and combine that with behavioral biometrics, like we mentioned, or where I see maybe you authorize an agent to do a purchase. The bank says, let me just check this one. It then sends you a link where you have to do just instant face matching to just say re-authentication, saying, yep, this is me, open it, face match closes, agent can then finish its job. So
I love
it's
that.
still a wide open field, but what
Yeah.
I know is agents aren't slowing down. And I think the pressure from consumers on retailers and merchants and banks to figure this out going to be tremendous.
Yeah. It's going to
Someone's going to have
totally
to figure it.
upend your industry, I think.
Yes, it will. It will.
Like all
Yeah.
these AI companies are like, hey, use an agent. It's great.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it is, but
it,
then it
it
creates whole
is.
new problems for you.
Exactly. So proof of personhood, you can do, there's a lot of research papers around that, but that's basically where it's going is I think instead of now where we spend most of the time proving I am Hartley Thompson, I am Alicia Shapiro, you're basically just gonna have to start proving that I am a human. And I
Wild.
hate to say your identity almost doesn't matter, but it's gonna matter more that you're actually proving that you are a person. Yeah.
That's true. Wow. And what are other emerging trends, maybe besides agents, do you see shaping the future of AI powered security? And how is
Yep.
Microblink preparing for that?
Yeah, so I'd say we've seen about four major shifts that are transforming digital identity. The first one I touched on a bit in the past answer around biometric authentication. So that's just becoming more and more sophisticated. But what we're also glad about seeing is becoming more accepted by users who appreciate the convenience. If you've taken a United flight lately, for example, a few other airlines are doing it as well, but they're piloting a program where you can actually just look into an iPad at the gate before you
Oh,
board. You don't have to show your boarding pass. You don't have to show your passport. It does a quick authentication, and then you board the plane. So I know there was a lot of angst around that. Yes, people are opting out, and that's what then I encourage everybody to, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, definitely don't do it. But we are encouraged to see how much adoption these kind of use cases are getting. Second, AI-powered fraud detection is just getting dramatically better at spotting anomalies in real
Oh, good.
time by analyzing very big data sets for suspicious patterns. Talked about a little bit on the behavioral biometrics side, as far as geofencing, geolocating, knowing where you're at. There are lots and lots of signals now that AI-powered fraud models are using. And the benefit to consumers is that you're going to have to verify if something was fraudulent or not less and less. So it's just creating
Oh,
less friction for the consumers. Third is a very interesting one. This is another hot topic in industry, but decentralized identity
oh, right.
solutions. There's a lot of growing interest in that. I think there's still a lot of regulatory things to work out there, but the concept, I'm a huge fan of basically giving individuals control over
Mhm.
your personal identity data rather than storing everything in a centralized database.
Yeah.
And then the last one, we talked about it a bit, but deep fakes are just becoming more and more convincing. And that's where liveness detection technology is going to become more and more critical to ensure that as a business or even as a person, you're interacting with real humans presenting real credentials. So all of our products, Blink ID, our platform, and Blink Card now, pretty much that identity suite, we're trying to be in front of all of these trends
Hmm.
essentially and build. I cringe sometimes when I hear future-proof products
Yeah.
because the future is always constantly evolving, but we're trying to get ahead of the curve and stay. But landscape's evolving so quickly, but we have to keep pace with it. And yeah, identity verification technology is here for the long haul, and I feel like it's just the beginning, which is
Oh,
exciting.
yeah. Like we were just saying, it's gonna you're gonna almost have to completely refigure that out.
Yes, that's the fun part. That's the fun
Yeah.
part.
And what advice would you give to someone
Mhm.
looking to build a career in AI-powered security and digital identity?
Sure. A few pieces of advice. One, I would say is with it being such a rapidly evolving field, you have to be comfortable with embracing the unknown and
Yeah.
essentially lean in even when you don't have all the answers. Because this field is moving so fast, because it's still a very immature market, if you look at the totality of it and how long the industry has been around, there's a lot of gray area. There's not really a clear blueprint to point to and say, yep, this is exactly how your path to success. So be comfortable with the gray areas and just say yes.
Yeah.
Some of my personal biggest growth moments, some of Microblink's company's biggest growth moments came from us saying yes to challenges outside of our comfort zone.
Hmm.
Second, I would say is just follow your genuine passion within the space because there are so many parts that go into digital identity verification, whether it's machine learning, whether it's UX and design, whether it's data science, whether it's, like I said, on the info security, the legal compliance. There are just so many industries and skills that are needed to support this industry. Just pick your passion and align with that. The other one is just, we talked about it a bit, but you have to be a very intellectually curious person that's
Yeah.
going to be relentless about staying up with current advancements. The industry literally changes daily, weekly, I would say, if not daily at this
Yeah.
point. It's not yearly like some other industries. So if you're not a very intellectually curious person, I think it'll be a pretty tough one. And I'd say the last one that I think is probably the most impactful and something that we talk about a lot internally at our company is really understanding the human impact of what you're building.
Yeah.
So the technologies in this space and that we're building affect everything from financial inclusion to employment opportunities to who gets to enter a country or not. These are not things that we take lightly.
Right.
And we know that there's a lot of pressure there to deliver and live up to these standards because
Mhm.
you usually have to prove your identity when you need something in life.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand the human impact and stay connected to that. And obviously, ethics are huge, and you have to prioritize ethics in every decision that you make. As AI just continues to become more and more powerful, issues like bias and data security become even more critical. I'll just say the last thing is just be adaptable and be open to growth.
Yeah.
Always open to learning more, being open-minded. And the best people that learn are the ones that are constantly saying, I don't know, and asking questions to get better.
I love that. That's great advice. And before we wrap up, I always like to ask when you do step away from work, what are some activities or hobbies that you're passionate about?
Great question. So obviously I have a beautiful wife and two sons. So my greatest joy in life is spending time with them. We travel a lot. I would say that's probably our biggest family hobby. I'm a
Mhm.
big believer in exposing our children to different ways of life, different
Yeah.
cultures, different countries. They learn so much. So traveling is probably our top hobby as a family. If I talk about myself personally, I love fishing, growing up in the Bahamas,
Mm.
being from the Caribbean, anything that's on the water, under the water, anything to do with the water is my happy place. But I really love to fish. And then I don't get a lot of time to do this, but I'm also a nerd at heart and still love video games.
Oh,
When I
yeah.
can, that's the easiest way for me to really decompress, not
Mhm.
have to think about things, de-stress. It was just to play a video game. Outside of that, I'm very passionate about community building and helping other
Oh.
people. So we have a family foundation that we started in 2019, originally in my home country after Hurricane Dorian completely destroyed my home island, and still to this date, the strongest hurricane ever recorded. So that was that changed a lot of people's lives that I know, not for
Yeah.
the better. So we started a foundation with helping to restore my home island after Hurricane Dorian, and we've expanded that now to projects in several different countries. And that really, really makes me happy to be able to be in a position to help people and pay it forward, especially families and children that are impacted by natural disasters,
Mhm.
wars, anything that they don't have control over. So
Yeah.
that's me in a nutshell on the personal side.
I love that. Thank you, Hartley, for joining us and sharing your
Thank you.
insights on identity verification and fraud. It's just been a fascinating conversation, and I've loved talking with
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Alicia. It was my pleasure. Had a lot of fun. Thanks for
Oh,
inviting
good.
me.
And if you'd like to learn more about Microblink, just visit their website, microblink.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.